Welcome to this mini session, very brief session on Black Friday and how there's a few things that will make it truly amazing. I'm not going into specific offers in this session. There are lots of other things that will help make it really good, and it's those things that I'm going to go into today. So there will be some relevance if you don't have an e-commerce store. If you are here without an e-commerce store, that's fine. There will be most benefit for those of you in e-commerce, but there'll be some really good nuggets of it too. So Black Friday, we still call it Black Friday, but it is way more than just a day these days. It spans Black Friday through till Cyber Monday. At the bare minimum, it actually tends to be a little bit more than that these days as well. But during that period of time, and this is what happened last year, in the UK alone, consumers spent £9.42 billion over the course of that Black Friday event, which is huge. Now, of that, 61.49%, getting into specifics, that accounted for online sales alone. So nearly 62% of them were online. That, because I've done the maths, that equates to £5.79 billion just spent during that Black Friday event. So if you want a share of that, you have to join in. Now, the other thing that happens during Black Friday, even if you are not taking part in putting offers out there, but the lure of a good deal certainly captures people's attention, and we can see that in the traffic itself as well. So there is a 5% increase in traffic compared to pre-November. That's pretty massive as well. So even if you don't do anything specifically for Black Friday, you may experience an uplift in visitors. However, you may be wasting an opportunity to cash in on that extra traffic. So not just for sales, so consider the additional subscribers that you might perhaps get onto your email list. So I'm going to go through a few tips, 9 to be exact, on how you can make your Black Friday, Cyber Monday event a truly great one. Now, a couple of these are probably common sense, but there may be some other elements that you probably haven't considered before. So this is the first one, and this is probably a no-brainer. If you are running an offer, make it the absolute best offer you can, your best ever offer. I'm talking better than Christmas or January sales. Now, with so many other brands having equally great offers during this time as well, and in the run up to Christmas, you're going to want yours to try and cut through that noise and be as, or if not more, attractive. So if you normally do something like 10% off or 15% off, or maybe at a push, go for 20, push it higher, push it that little bit extra, go for 25% perhaps. It's got to be good. Don't go too high, however, that it becomes unprofitable. You yourself will know your margins, you will know what level you are able to get to and what is your best ever offer. So consider that extra margin that you give away, however, on that truly fabulous deal that you can come up with. Consider that as a cost of acquisition. Now, that idea might mean that you can flex a little bit and go a little bit higher than you may normally go. That extra acquisition, these customers won't just be buying products at a discount. Any customers that you acquire can then be further communicated to via email, and you'll have a whole load of new contacts to market to ongoing, not just for this event. So that, hopefully, knowing that that can happen means you could afford to go a little higher than you're normally comfortable with. Now, if that's still a bit of a scary prospect, maybe run a best ever offer on just a selection of products. You don't have to go the whole hog. Maybe there is stock that you're trying to shift. Give it a Black Friday flag, and it's sure to get more interest than if it's just sitting in a permanent sales section of your website. The next one is to use Black Friday to focus on the people that don't buy, which sounds completely counterintuitive, doesn't it? But if you run some targeted activity to your non-purchasers, engage them or remove. And Black Friday is a really good way of doing that, because it's using your best ever offer. If these guys don't convert on that, they're never going to. So you can remove them. Now, this segment of your audience can easily be identified in your email list. You should all have email lists where you can identify the people who are not engaging and not buying. So this event gives us a chance to do a little bit of housekeeping as well. Now, you will look to be removing quite a lot. Don't panic. Don't worry that you're removing half of your email list. If they're not buying, there is no loss anyway. And hopefully instead, you'll be filling up your email list with new purchasers and new contacts anyway. Which brings me to the next tip. We're sticking with email because Black Friday event also gives a great opportunity to grow your list. Now, even if you don't run any actual offers, that 5% increase in traffic that I talked about earlier is an uplift that you may also experience. So use that and get those additional visitors onto your email list. That's a great idea. If you are doing Black Friday, run an email sign up initiative during October, the month we're in right now. So that will give you lots of new subscribers to target your Black Friday offers to. Now, it's good practice to run an initiative on your social channels. Lots of people these days have huge social media followers. But it's very hard to engage them. It's very hard to make sales directly from social media. The best way to treat them is to get them into a channel where you can market to them more easily. That channel is email. Right, the next one is SEO. Now, with Black Friday, Cyber Monday being a short, mostly 4-day event, you might think that doing SEO is a bit odd, but first of all, we've learned that it's much more than just a day, more than 4 days quite often. And since this event happens every single year, you should consider having a permanent page, a website URL dedicated to Black Friday. Don't keep creating a new page, section or category each year. Reuse this same page again and again. This will help you keep hold of any SEO benefit, any link equity that you've built up from previous year or previous years if you continue to use it. But you can also use this for other events as well. So things like Christmas or Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, etc. It works for any event. So it's definitely something that you should think about creating. This page doesn't have to be visible on the front end all year round. You can hide it from view or just keep it published so the link equity stays in place, but it's definitely worth considering. All right, the next one is create a bespoke logo. Now, this is probably a bit of a nice to have, but it's something that a lot of brands do. They create persistent, recognizable logos when they promote particular offers. So I'm thinking the Debenhams Blue Cross sale, Domino's 2 for Tuesday, Holland & Barrett's penny sale. We all will recognize them when we see them. The Debenhams one is easy. It's a great big Blue Cross. But consider creating your own style of offer for Black Friday event. Use this same logo year after year to aid recognition. You can actually build in your own brand to it as well. So it's much more recognizable and associated with your brand and your products. Like I mentioned on the previous point with SEO, this can also work for any other event throughout the year or any event that you might create yourself, like the Debenhams Blue Cross sale. And also they ran it several times a year. So it gives you a bit more use than just that single event. Next one is planning ahead. Now, ideally, you should have all of your event and campaign assets and plans all mapped out at least 3 months ahead. The offers that you will do, what channels you will promote on, what dates you will work to, and all the communication and creating all of the marketing assets and graphics that will be needed. It should really all be not necessarily finished, but it should be planned, ready to execute. If you haven't, don't panic because there's still time. We're probably about 6 weeks away from Black Friday now, and we're in mid-October. So there is still plenty of time from where we are now, but you might need to keep it a little more simple. So something that's really easy for you to implement, like a percentage, site-wide percentage off. That makes it easier to communicate as well. So you don't have to get quite so granular on looking at specific channels, specific ranges, and that kind of thing. Another tip is to actually go early. Now, we know that this 4-day weekend, lots of people go really, really, really super early. There are two approaches to this, and I use both with my clients. The first one is to launch early to avoid all the noise that we get over that weekend. We know that if you get an email drop in your email box, it'll be absolutely stuffed with Black Friday offers. And it's really hard to try and, as a customer, it's hard to focus on particular ones. As a brand, it's even harder. So launching early could just be a few days early, or maybe right at the beginning of November, maybe even earlier. Maybe some brands are actually launching in the next couple of weeks, so in October. It could be just giving early access to your offer for your VIP, perhaps, VIP group, before you kind of open it up to everybody. The other option is to have an extra event, a pre-Black Friday event, if you like. This is about doing it twice. So you're adding in an additional event. Now, my own clients have had great success with having two separate Black Friday events. An early one in October, and then another kind of on the day, if you like, in November. The earlier one did not have any negative impact in any way on the main event. It just serves to provide additional sales for the business. So it was a total win-win. It can give you 2 bites of the cherry here, and it's something that I will continue to repeat with my clients year after year, because we know it works to bring in incremental revenue. If doing 2 events isn't something that you are entirely comfortable with, then maybe just launch a little earlier than you would normally, or consider launching early to a select segment of your email list. All right, here's the next one, and it's really to watch out for an increase in abandoned baskets. Now, with all that extra traffic online, that extra 5% that we see as an uplift through November, there's normally an associated increase in abandoned baskets. So you need to make sure that you have a solid abandoned basket strategy in place. Now, if you already have an abandoned basket email, that's an absolute no-brainer. If you don't have one, you totally should, but consider adding a second one, a follow-up email. Not everybody will see the first one or take action from it, so it's good practice to have a second one in the series. I certainly see this with my clients, where both emails in an abandoned basket series recover baskets and generate sales that would otherwise be lost. At the very least, review the recovery strategies that you have in place today. That might just be a single email, but see if you can improve it. At the checkout itself, you could consider adding an exit intent trigger that pops up an offer to help recover what could be an abandoned checkout. This could be during the Black Friday event. It could be quite scary to offer that to people all year round. So just do it at particular times. You can easily turn it on and off. But you could use that to just remind shoppers that this is a Black Friday offer. And this is your, as we've talked about, your best ever offer, that it won't be around for long. And that might just help them, encourage them to check out during this particular period of time. All right, this is actually the last one, and it's about mobile experience. Now, mobile experience is incredibly important. It's growing in importance year on year. Black Friday event last year, over 74% of the online sessions were via mobile. So you will need to make sure that the view and the function, that whole experience of your website is excellent on a mobile. Now, the best way to do that really is to browse your website as if you were a customer. Browse it on your mobile, but go a step further. Go through the checkout process too and see how easy it is, hopefully, or what barriers you might come across. That will give you time to make some changes ahead of the Black Friday event. Now, stats also showed that the peak time for traffic via mobiles was around 9 p.m, which we know people will sit comfortably in the living rooms, watching a bit of TV, have their mobile in their hand and do a bit of shopping. On desktop, it's actually 11 a.m. So there's quite a difference there. Now, why is that important, you might ask? Now, this represents an opportunity to do mobile-based activity at the right time. So, for instance, if you do lives on Instagram and you will do them around your products and offers, do it in the evening when we know that people will be most active and are more likely to be there to watch your lives and then engage at that right time. All right, so that was a whirlwind tour around a few tips about having a successful Black Friday, Cyber Monday event. I'm not going to go through them all because I've been through them all once already, but these aren't offer specific. But so these are much more general, but things that people just forget about. They're focused on the offer, but they're forgetting the other foundations that need to be in place. Put these into action, get your best ever offer, and you can be sure that you're going to try and get a chunk of that incredible £9.2 billion that was spent in the UK last year. I hope this has given you some food for thought. Again, it's not all about the offer, a lot, but not all, but grab that opportunity with both hands. If you need a hand talking over what your setup is or how to get it in the best possible place it can be, or if you just fancy chat, you can use your phone and you can scan the QR code on screen right now and you can book a free 10-minute chat with me and we can thrash some ideas around and get you on the right path.